Let's go. All right, let me. I just need to change a couple of things here. Sorry, that was my bad. I didn't refresh the stream. I just need to get rid of the CSTL logo. They've got adverts over my thing. Let's move that up there. Perfect. And we should have sounds. There we go. Let's do this. Thank you so much, Devlin, for the 250 bits as we kick this off. Are we on a low quality? The resolution is a bit messed up, right? We are on 1080-60. Okay, let's just roll with it for the moment, guys, as we go into this. PartinG is going to proxy Robo Facility on the top side of the map. In game number 1 on Thunderbird, so he's already in this best of 5, getting aggressive. Robo Facility up at the top. INnoVation is scouting with the Reaper. Now it's a proxy double Robo off the Nexus. He actually did this fairly recently, if I'm not mistaken, in GSL Super Tournament against... Who did he play in Super Tournament? TY. Was it? Who was TY playing that did double proxy Robo? TY played against double proxy Robo, and he went for a Hellion drop that, he went for... Yeah, it was TY? Yeah, I thought so. So, he's going for this build that he used against TY. And TY did this, like, Hellion run by, this Hellion drop that just really basically counters it, because you just kill more probes than SCVs the Protoss can kill, so it puts you in a pretty good position from the start. Yeah, these are best of 5, guys. Again, I know the... currently the setup is a little bit weird. It's very, the in-game is not looking great, is it? So, yeah, not looking good at all. INnoVation is a bit blind. He's not scouted the double proxy Robo. He's been on scouting down the bottom right-hand side, and yeah, kind of just setting up into this. We're going to be seeing a second Immortal about to pop out. Oh, INnoVation! He's getting close to seeing it, but I mean, he's just building Widow Mines and Marines. I don't think he's going to have anything really to kind of shut this down. He sees it now. He sees the War Prism. I mean, it's just too late, though. What can he even build at this stage? He's going to double check. He's going to build a Viking, which obviously will shut down the War Prism quite nicely. He's going to have a Widow Mine to deal some initial damage as well. And if the Marines come in here, well, that's actually really nice, because now the War Prism, well, he's actually going to try and chase the War Prism even with the Marines, but he doesn't quite get it. And you can see he really wants to try and get that. The Immortals trying to stay safe for the moment. Viking, when that comes out, I mean, that's a dead War Prism, and PartinG's actually a little bit supply blocked here, so he is going to be very delayed on getting a new War Prism up. So, hey, for the moment, this is actually kind of playable for INnoVation as we see the War Prism. It's going to lift up and move away. Viking comes out, and that's the end of the War Prism. 2 Immortals have to back away. Good defense by INnoVation. This actually really went his way all of a sudden. It's really started to go a little bit better as we're going to be seeing the Immortals here. Take off that forward Widow Mine and Marines, though. I mean, these Immortals are low. If you can target fire that hurt one down, that would be amazing, obviously, getting kills at this sort of stage. He's losing a lot of his Marines, though, and PartinG is doing a good job of keeping his units alive. INnoVation's trying to drop on top of these Immortals. Oh my god, it gets its shield back. INnoVation lost a lot there, but now he's got a siege tank, and with the siege tank, it's going to be very hard to break this position, especially because the Warp Prism isn't here to drop those units on top of the siege tank. So that's definitely hurting a little bit as we see the bunker tank setting up. Second bunker starting as well. And the Warp Prism still just hanging out overhead. These Immortals going to load up in towards the Prism, and that's going to be a Widow Mine again. Just lost an Immortal. I mean, that's not great. Now this one Immortal is just stuck in the main base. Meanwhile, across the map, well, that was, I believe, the Reaper getting a few probe kills, so that's been going pretty well as well. This Liberator is just going to be pushing this Immortal around. He's going to recall it, which is great. It keeps it alive. PartinG is on 2 bases, but he's on 30 probes against 41 SCVs, so he's not exactly looking great in that regard. And yeah, overall, this has been pretty nice for INnoVation. Maybe it was the Viking, actually, that landed to get those probes rather than the Reaper. That would make more sense as to how it killed so many so quickly. So yeah, really good defense by INnoVation here. This went, I mean, the Widow Mines, I feel like it's one of the things you got to be super careful of as PartinG, though. Like, yes, he ended up seeing it, so he knows there's a War Prism. And Widow Mines are such a regular choice when you're just setting up into like a normal TvP opener. So I'm so surprised that PartinG was caught somewhat off guard by the fact there was Widow Mines there. I feel like that was a bit of a, shock to me. I feel like PartinG should have been able to respond to that a little bit better. As we are going to see the game setup. Hey, did the resolution just fix itself? It did, right? Oh, it looks good now. Cool. Awesome. Whatever they changed just looks a lot better. Perfect. Okay. Sorry for the little bit of a funky start, guys. Obviously, working on a clean feed, trying to get everything set up. Let me know, are the game sounds and stuff okay volume as well? Because obviously I can control that. I don't know what volume to put them at. Let me know if they need to go up or down at all. We can get that fixed very easily for you guys. We do see the Liberator. Going to come into the main base. I mean, PartinG's just going to struggle for Eaters to defend as we see this Liberator siege. And that's going to be multiple probes already starting to drop here. So 4 5 workers going down right from the start. 5 probes and keeping the Liberator alive is a really nice opener. It's just going to be seeing the Raven out as well. I mean, INnoVation is going to be up against Storm. You can see the difference, though. There's no third Nexus for PartinG, right? And INnoVation has a third CC. He's going to move that out in a moment. He's going to have 60 workers against 45. INnoVation has so much. He's just building up in towards his bio now, his 5 barracks. He's super defensive. He's not going to die to anything because he's got tanks, he's got bunkers. I mean, this Liberator is going to pick up another 5 workers here. At least that goes 2, 3. Maybe not 5. As we do see Liberator coming around down in towards the main base. See what else is going to happen in the next couple of moments. Stalker's going to try and get that. Actually, Stalker's may be able to get that in a moment or two. And Liberator will go down finally. Now Raven's lining up an order turret in the back of the main base. We're just going to be seeing the missile turret coming up over to the side. +1 attack armor will continue to come into play. Here's our Raven. Order turret's going to go crazy and just keep PartinG from mining. I mean, INnoVation's entire style right here is just keeping PartinG from continuing to mine when PartinG's already behind on economy. I mean, this is kind of an expensive loss, though, right? If you lose the Raven, which is going to go down. That is kind of too gas to kill 1 probe and force a pull away. That's not worthwhile. As we do see this Bioforce around the top side of the map. Looking to see where it can get to. Looks like it might dart down the right here and heading towards the natural expansion and them dropships. So, INnoVation looking great. I mean, the supplies speak for themselves. You know, if we get Todd in here, we could look at the supply because it is a big 60 difference. And there's not really much coming back from that. I say 60, I think it might have even been 70. Math in the morning is not even that easy. PartinG's out on the map right now as well, so this drop's going to come in and it's going to do damage. You can even send 1 medevac into the main base if you'd like. Looks as though there's going to be a recall on a natural, so he's actually going to go into the main. Well, I mean, that works too, right? He's just going to drop in. These probes are going to be in trouble, and I mean, this army's got to walk through a horrible Sim City to come and defend this. Meanwhile, INnoVation's main army is pushing out onto the map. Storm's dropping down. Marines going to get taken down. I mean, this job is dealt with pretty easily so far. I was going to see a few more units unloading from the medevac here. Viking, Bio, continue to press through the center. We're going to be seeing the Archon about to finish up. That Warp Prism, oh my god, is on 1 hit point. Doesn't really make a difference, right? There's just so much bio anyways. He's not even going to have to siege the tanks. The Warp Prism will drop the high tempers. Storms to try and save the day. I mean, that's literally all you've got. Tanks will siege for the fun of it. And I mean, the Storms are okay, but they're never going to do enough, as that's going to be INnoVation picking up game number 1. In the top right-hand, bottom right-hand side of this map, we do have PartinG. And the top left-hand side, in a moment or two, oh no, oh we've got full-on player cams, there we go. And the top left-hand side, we do have our red Terran player, INnoVation. Game number 2, INnoVation looked very good against that proxy robo defense. Obviously, sorry for a little bit of a hectic start in game 1. The stream was being a little bit funky, and obviously it was kind of a little bit low quality when we started as well, but that did all get fixed. And as we get going, game 2 of this best of 5. As you see a barracks dropping down up on the high ground. Hey, what's up, Try84? Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub as well. Today's crazy. Should stream at 7 AM more often. You guys are full of bits and subs. Never seen anything like it. Start streaming. Try streaming 5 hours from now. You get like 1 bit per hour. Thanks for the love, guys. Appreciate it. Hey, brand new sub emotes in the chat if you haven't seen them, by the way. Got uploaded yesterday. We've got a sneaky little probe. We've got an Overlord Scout. And we've got a Dark Templar that says easy. It's basically brilliant. Thank you so much for that Twitch Prime. Let's see what happens in the Reaper Expand versus the Gateway Expand in the first couple of minutes of game number 2 of this best of 5. It's going to be seeing early game, nothing too crazy. I mean, INnoVation will just scout with the SCV. Obviously, first time we're seeing PartinG get into a nice standard startup here. So, just getting that set up a little bit, as we are going to be seeing the Gateway Chrono boosting that Adept. We're coming all the way down to the bottom right-hand side, and just going to be seeing the Twilight Council, the initial tech choice from PartinG. So it gives himself a couple of options here early in the game. You know, Twilight Council means that you can obviously go in towards a Blink opener quite easily, and that is typically what you'd go for. That's a very fast Twilight Council, though, and in some ways I kind of want to believe that PartinG might even just drop a Dark Shrine, but I feel like he's obviously walled off here. He's only got to then defend the Reaper from the natural. It's not, this map is a map that not everybody walls off on, because a lot of people just say that's way too close to the edge, it's too easily abused by Terran. So PartinG obviously does want to hide when he's doing here a little bit. He will just go blink, so it's nothing too crazy in the end. I mean, a 3-minute blink, it's not unheard of, but it is still kind of a faster Twilight Council. So you just have the Adept shading up to the top left-hand side, but there should be units here to defend. There's a couple of Marines already out. There's a Widowmine building. There should be fairly comfortable defense here, as we do see that blink upgrade. Continuing to Chrono Boost. Widowmine on the way out of the main base as well. Warp Gate is starting, and just going to see that Supply Depot raising as the Adept is going to hit the top. Rubber Facility is a follow-up. This is pretty much as standard as it gets from PartinG, actually, so far, so good. Blink just continue to Chrono Boost, and obviously these Marines gathering up together between the main and the natural. Barracks dropping down. Some pretty fast second racks here, and obviously INnoVation not seeing anything crazy this time. We'll just load up those Widowmines and go straight across the map to deal some damage. Honestly, last game I kind of loved what he did with the medevac, trying to chase down that Warp Prism and so, and obviously the Widowmines put in great positions defensively. It really shut down the entire attack. Now the Reaper does get in, sacrifices itself to scout what's going on, sees the third base with this medevac, actually flies over that to the point where PartinG would have seen it anyway. There's a pylon on the bottom side. So yeah, this Widowmine drop unlikely to do a lot. Medevac will absolutely go down here, as he will take a second volley on the Medevac. That actually allows the Widowmines to burrow. That's bad from PartinG. He let 3 probes go down. That should have been 1. No reason to let that extra probe go down there. That is a big mistake, as you're going to see second Widowmine getting picked off. And this Widowmine just coming down in towards the center of the map as well, so... Stalkers continuing out into the center of the map. Widowmine coming down to the bottom and forging a couple of extra gateways from PartinG. I mean, obviously INnoVation's up against a very fast third Nexus, so we'll see what it can do. 4 probes killed from the Widowmine drop is nice and all, but there's got to be some kind of follow-up here. The problem is when the third Nexus comes up this quickly, great target fire here. If it went off on the Stalker, it just blinks away and survives. Nice kill on the Observer too. The thing is, PartinG's on this scenario when he's on 3 bases, and if INnoVation tries to hit on against 3 bases, the Blink Stalkers should just be able to trade well enough. You know, like the massive gateway is just going to be, you know, already 5 gateways 4, 5, and 6 being added on here. There's going to be a lot of gates, and you're going to get into a position very quickly where you're just going to have the units to hold off a bio attack. And at that stage, it kind of becomes better just going to the later stages of the Terran, because the Protoss is kind of sticking on a lot of lower tech units and a high number of them, and so in a way, by going into your own third base and continuing on from there, you're actually in a better spot overall, because the larger your army gets, the less effective that mass army is going to become as well. As you see, gateways continue to set up in the main base. Fire continuing to move around here. And just going to be coming out onto towards the center of the map. Raven's going to come in behind with Mineral Line. I'm just going to drop an auto turret down. Two Stalkers picking away at that auto turret, dealing a little bit of damage. Really nice blink here. Gets a full medevac. Second medevac obviously shut down as well. Only one Marauder, one Marine, and one medevac, and one Marauder. Widowmine surviving. Nicely done, as you see. Bio will stim forwards. Good catch though by PartinG. I mean, shuts down this drop completely. And that shuts down any sort of hopeful aggression INnoVation might have had. He has got that Raven as well, which has not done a lot just yet. Scan out in between the natural and the third base. See more medevac showing up, but yeah, INnoVation lost a lot here, obviously, so unlikely he can really get much done, but still nice for him to be on the map and applying pressure, because it will still keep PartinG a little bit afraid. INnoVation still has decent army supply as well, right? If he gets some good mine shots, this can go south very quickly. Building his third CC in location as well, it really means that you just want to kind of stay here, right? You know, as INnoVation. There is an attack in INnoVation's main base, which is going to be shown right now. He's dealing with this pretty well, though. The only problem is he doesn't have enough Marines to really get rid of these Zealots fast enough. Marines are actually going to get on top of that prison for a moment, so INnoVation will continue to deal with that. And that is the one issue with obviously being out on the map here. But honestly, I feel like this was very well dealt with. He's lost 4 SCVs. For this many Zealots, it's really not that bad. Now he's going to try and drop in the main, but I think that's where PartinG's army is, or it's close to it. He's in the natural, I think. INnoVation will start to unload shield batteries and the cannon again. PartinG's actually going to be hurt by his own Sim City here. As you see the initial Widow Mines going off, Zealots are going to start dropping. Shield battery energy already drained. These sentries are going to be in trouble. PartinG actually warped in across the map again, so warping in across the map, it delays this warp in at home. One Immortal goes down, and you can just see INnoVation's continuing to kill these Zealots. There's no armor upgrade. Without the armor upgrade, you're in a lot of trouble here. Now probes are being pulled in to try and tank as well, but that's 10 workers down, and INnoVation is just looking like a different class of player. Despite losing 2 medevacs early, he completely defensive. I mean, that's a nice warp in to block these units from chasing the Immortal. That's 19 probes, 2 Immortals, multiple sentries, Warp Prism denied on the other side of the map. INnoVation lost 5 SCVs. That's actually crazy. To lose 5 SCVs against multiple warp-ins while you're doing so much on the other side, it's actually incredible. It's actually incredible. Units out into the center. As INnoVation is actually just playing a masterclass of TvP right here. I have to say it, he's playing really, really well. Hey chat, are these games live? Another China event no one knows about until it happens. Unemployment, buddy? This tournament has been going on for the last 2 months. So if you don't know about it, that's kind of on you, to say the least, I gotta say. Pretty much everybody knew about this tournament. It's been happening for a little while. Montian with the gift sub-bomb. We got some Wardy bombs in the chat, please, people. Thank you so much for the sub-bomb. We're going to get to that in a moment, because right now we have got this Bioforce pressing forwards and looking pretty good as this army of PartinG does have to retreat away in the center of the map. Stalkers, Immortals still coming through here. Extra Zealots going down. I mean, this could be the push that just ends this game. PartinG is going to be in some trouble. He has started +2 armor and INnoVation's 2-2 delayed. Doesn't have the armory just yet. He's loading up to the main base again now. PartinG's so out of position. He's got 3 Stalkers and 2 Zealots. I mean, INnoVation's like, yeah, that's cute, but what are you really going to do against this? Well, he's going to recall into the main, but there's an army heading towards the third base. He actually doesn't even recall everything. I don't think that's enough to actually fight this. So PartinG's going to lose this army, which he just brought into the main. Now that army sitting outside of PartinG's third is obviously looking to deal damage as well, as we're going to see pylons are dropping and, well, yeah, there he goes, arriving on the third base. The Immortal comes in via the Warp Prism, but now that gets taken down. No more micro in that regard, and just going to lift up, move out. Stalkers get the empty, low health medevac. I mean, this Nexus is going to go down as well. Everything has gone wrong for PartinG in this game. INnoVation has really played a very good game here. A really good game. Bio hanging out just on the high ground. A bit more Bio going to be coming in. To the main base. Some probes going down. And you do just see these probes from the third base obviously out of position as well. There's just no way PartinG can hold on to this. He's got units all over the place. He's just sent his Warp Prism over the army. And Yeah, I mean, INnoVation's just going to brute force his way up this ramp. Obviously, this isn't pretty. It's definitely not the best way to play, but when you're this far ahead, it doesn't really matter that much as Sentry gets warped in. I mean, warping into Sentry right now kind of shows you how desperate PartinG is to try and survive. That's GG INnoVation. Welcome back as you go into game number 3. In the bottom right-hand side is All-Star line from the line. It is PartinG. Top left-hand side, our red Terran player is INnoVation. Third game of the TvP, and INnoVation has been looking fantastic so far. He looked good in macro. He looked good against cheese. I mean, I don't actually know what PartinG does, especially because that last game doesn't get much better for PartinG. Picking off 2 medevacs early and shutting down the initial pressure. Got away with the fastest third Nexus. Still fell apart for him. His drop defense wasn't good. It's as simple as that. His drop defense really just was not good. It was actually kind of pitiful. So hopefully PartinG can shape up on that a little bit here as we get into this game 3 of the series. Hope he can take a map or so. You know, let's get this matchup a little bit kind of back and forth here. Let's get some games going. Did you just see? An SCV coming through the center. Thank you again, Montian, for the 10 gifted subs, by the way. Gifts out to Divinasia TV for 7 months, Lord Akium for 4 months, Mesh83 for 1, Demega Lord for 3 months, Kynex Midlight for 3 months, Yummy66, welcome for 1 month, Kitty Lynn for 3 months, Bros Papa, first ever time, welcome, Cool7748 for 2 months. Thank you so much, appreciate it. Thank you, Expanse98 for the 300 bits. Thank you so much, appreciate it as well. So much love today, guys. Thank you so much, appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Robo facility from PartinG. This time will be in his main base. Moving away from that Twilight Council opener, instead going into the Robo. As we see, the early game then from PartinG will probably be Warp Prism pressure focused. It's very difficult for it to be anything else. It's very difficult for it to be anything else because unless you just like, I mean, any sort of aggression from a Robo comes out as a Warp Prism, right? Even if you go Immortal, then you get very aggressive. He could go Observer first, just for vision. And then sort of go with the Warp Prism just after. I mean, any order of things here still comes out pretty close together. You don't have to go and like put on pressure immediately against a Terran player. You can just get the Observer or 2 up. But eventually it makes sense to get a Prism and be on the map and to try and find some openings, scout a little bit, get a little bit of damage done, which is kind of what we're setting up into in the next couple of moments. Stalking a sentry, sitting out the front of the Naturals. You'll see the double gateway dropping down in the front as well. Reaper will go down. And as that Reaper gets picked up, well, we're going to have those couple of Widow Mines and Marines continue to join up in the main base. A second barracks dropping down in the main as well. Widow Mines both going to get themselves burrowed. And that hallucinated Phoenix going to come in towards the main base in a moment or two. Just going to get blown up by a Widow Mine, so no scouting for you. Doesn't get to see the second barracks. This Observer continues up to the top side and continues to see what's going on. The medevac with 3 Widow Mines inside will come across the map, and Observer does get to see that. So PartinG getting some good information here. I mean, he lost 4 probes to 2 Widow Mines last time. That's obviously not meant to happen, especially when he saw it coming. So we'll see what he tries to go for this time around, as we are going to be seeing the medevac. They're going to try and come down in towards the natural. So 3 Widow Mines. Doesn't have boost until just now. We'll set it off and, well, forces the probes to pull. I mean, this is really nice because it's going to get 2 mineral lines of probe pulls. 2 probes went down over in the natural, and the probe roll in the main is very slow. 6 probes or 3 Widow Mines. And he actually, I mean, saves the medevac this time around, right? So even saves one of the Widow Mines. Adapts across the map, so here we go, PartinG with some counter pressure here. Picks up 2 SCV kills so far. We'll get the up to 3. can obviously take some damage before lifting up and getting out. So 5 SCVs down. It's actually quite nice. Good control by PartinG. Continue to just sit there and take damage, knowing it's only going to be shield damage, and then it will come back online. I like what INnoVation did as well, though, trying to target down the War Prism initially. You're never going to kill an Adept if PartinG's paying attention, because obviously he's just going to lift it up into the Prism. If you can target the Prism down and PartinG makes that mistake of not pulling it away fast enough, those Adepts are going to be forfeits. So, looks like the Prism just got recalled, and that's why the Marines are moving away from the top left-hand corner. And it is Colossus on the way from PartinG, so going to be straight-up Colossus play. I always find the Colossus play that little bit weak to this Raven. Just because the interference matrix is so effective on shutting down Colossus, and you really are relying on a very low number of units to defend when you play Colossus openers, because you really invest in everything into Colossus extended thermal lance. And so if you can drop the interference matrix on those Colossus, you really do take away everything that army is meant to be good for. INnoVation, though, will come out onto the map with this Raven. Looks like he's observer hunting. I think he's going to find one there on the left-hand side. I think we just missed that going down. And this is what the observers just jumped to now. So he finds an observer. That's obviously a great catch. Just going to see this Stalker patrolling on the bottom corner. Couple of Adepts dropping down. Going to start moving up to the top side. Extra gateways dropping down here as well. Twilight Council finishing up from PartinG. Blink will be the priority when playing Colossus. Protect those Colossus at all costs, as well, those Adepts are a little bit stranded. Not sure where the War Prism is at. And those Adepts do indeed go down, so they get killed off. And there is our Blink upgrade getting started as well. Some taco stuff. Thank you so much for the 30. That was loud. Thank you so much for the 38-month resub. Appreciate it. Army still gathering up here. Gonna see the Stalker pulling back a little bit. Blink +1. Those upgrades still coming in. I like this. He sees the Observer. He goes to chase it down. He will get that kill. PartinG actually sieged the Observer up, which was a bit greedy. Maybe he just thought that INnoVation had missed it, but yeah, if you continue to run that away, INnoVation might not have found it again. So a little bit of a mistake. Bio still gathered together, and well, PartinG is just set up on 3 bases Colossus. I don't think there's a way INnoVation pushes into that anytime soon, unless he does get those interference matrices off. But obviously that's what PartinG is kind of expecting to happen. We'll see if it turns out to be true. Worker count's actually surprisingly even, all things considered. 58 to 74. It's, sorry, 58 to 57. I'm reading the wrong numbers. The worker count's, yeah, very even, and that generally benefits the Terran, who has mules in this scenario, right? So typically INnoVation should be mining more than PartinG here. Gotta remember PartinG lost 6 workers early, and that is quite a sizable number to lose. It's not like game-ending territory, but it's going to set you back a little bit. INnoVation. Well, he might have to defend here, because PartinG actually moved out onto the map into the center, but for the moment is still hanging back here. War Prism, Disruptor play on the way out now on the Robo facility. Fourth Nexus dropping down, and obviously PartinG still just setting up here. I like that he's taking a bit of map control. You still have to be a little bit careful though overall. Want to be a little bit cautious about how this goes down. You see the hallucinated Phoenix getting shut down there as well. Still this army of PartinG out in the center. Enhanced shockwaves on the way up, so I mean INnoVation's getting in towards those ghosts, which you'd expect him to get into at this stage. Pressing forward, the Stalker in the front, going to get picked off, and he's got a few Vikings, but not really enough, and obviously the force fields on this map are pretty powerful. Those bridges are not made to be crossed when there's a sentry in range, so you know, just going to be seeing the CC dropping down the upper right-hand side. Hallucinated Phoenix just going to be coming around as well, going to be seeing +2 attack and armor continuing in. INnoVation Looking really good on the upgrades, by the way, actually. Them 2-2 upgrades are halfway done already, and PartinG just started his +2 armor. It's kind of crazy. We'll hallucinate Phoenix in towards the main base as we're going to be seeing Psionic Storm starting up on the Temple Archives. Disruptors still being produced. I mean, I like the Disruptors. After you go Colossus, it gives you that next wave of kind of splash damage nice and quickly, and it does do a lot to zone the Terran out, actually. INnoVation just continues to build the Vikings here, so continues to build those. His fourth base delayed slightly, but not going to be cancelled, which is the most important part, right? If this was cancelled, that'd be a problem. Man, this is like 10 plus zealots now, which have actually just come forwards and done very little. Very little. INnoVation about to be on 2-2. His army is really powerful right now. INnoVation maxed out as well, by the way, and had Shockwaves finished. Hey, PartinG has to be really careful. He does not want to fight right now. He does not want to fight right now. Army sitting down in the center. You're going to see a couple of bio units pressing forwards here. Zealot going to take some damage. Big EMP. That's the thing, though. How do you move through the middle of this map? You kind of just don't. That's kind of the problem. This time, more Zealots in the top right. There will be a planetary fortress here, though. Let's see what the SCVs can do to survive this. Obviously, they can repair the planetary, but the bigger issue is when the Zealots actually attack those SCVs. There's some... I mean, INnoVation just pulled his entire army back. At least these Zealots actually got some damage done, but it's still kind of, you know, a chunk of Zealots for 5 SCVs. It's still not crazy. Zealot gets taken down. Liberator gets picked off. Liberator is kind of in the middle of nowhere, loses one of them. Zealot's on that planetary fortress once again. SCVs are just there in time to start repairing this. Looks as though that planetary fortress will indeed be saved. The Zealot's going to go for the SCVs instead, but, well, actually, INnoVation decided not to go and defend that, so actually, he might lose that base. He decided to pull back here. Oh, the Disruptor Shot's going to kill everything. I can already feel it. Okay, INnoVation is pulling away. Oh, he got the ghosts! Observer, please! He just killed all the ghosts! That Disruptor Shot just got every single ghost. That's kind of crazy. Oh, man. Well, Zealots are going to go to the top right again. This base was saved. Oh, now the Disruptors get found, though. I'm not going to say that's worth losing the ghosts for, but it is some payback at least. And PartinG is just continuing to throw Zealots at upper right base. The thing is, this time, he's going to get SCVs again, but INnoVation is going to be here to save the planetary. And as long as this planetary gets saved, I mean, PartinG is losing so many minerals, just sending Zealot after Zealot up there. I actually really don't like it. Now this army here is kind of a bit weird as well. I mean, that's just sentries and stalkers, which actually kind of... I mean, the force field's kind of saving PartinG there. I guess that's why he sent the sentries up there with the stalkers, to be able to force field. Good force fields. Without those, he would have been in a lot of trouble. Fire pressing forward. You're going to see a Disruptor Shot. Going to connect on 3 Marauders and a Marine. Goes backing away as well. Stalker gets picked off. Still pressing forwards. I mean, INnoVation, the thing is, yes, he was losing SCVs, but he's rebuilding SCVs at a rate where he's pretty much constantly on mining, and it's costing PartinG more minerals than the SCVs lost. Now, obviously, some mining times lost as well, repairing that planetary fortress, etc. Wow, those High Templar just come from the middle of nowhere for some huge storms. PartinG is going to have cannons up on this base. Maybe in the end, the Zealots have done enough. There's going to be more Zealots in the third base now. That's not a planetary. First Disruptor Shot is good, but we are going to see the Colossus down pretty quickly here. INnoVation splitting versus the Disruptors. That's the problem. These Disruptors, there's just so many of them. They're basically constantly splitting away. And INnoVation again losing, taking damage on the other side. This time 15 workers go down. This is finally a good Zealot run by for PartinG. Finally he gets some proper damage done with all of this. Stalker's going to blink forwards. I really don't like that. Into Vikings. Vikings murder Stalkers. That bonus damage against Mechanical goes a long way, as you see the Zealots here are going to be drawn into Liberator fire. INnoVation now will just open up these rocks. PartinG's held on though, and he's making a good game out of this, because now he's in a position, I think, where he's in a lot more control than where he was. Look how late that 3-3 is though for PartinG. The fact that INnoVation has been leading in upgrades throughout this game is really something here. It's going to be seeing those couple of Liberators sieging up again. Viking Marauder and Marine going down as that will be a scan, and seeing a couple more SCVs dropping down here as well. Just going to be seeing the DTs continue to swipe their way through. This goes to Academy, dealing some more damage. The MP's dropping down, PartinG being pushed at the moment. I mean, really reliant on disruptors and storms to kind of deal with splash damage. If INnoVation can get this 5th base, it evens up the base count. It is low, and I don't think PartinG's going to stand to defend it as Prism on the right side. Mass Zealot DT going to move forwards here. 11 more SCVs lost from INnoVation. His turret not in place on the Planetary Fortress just yet. Going into Colossus again, by the way, partners. There's only a couple of Vikings remaining. That's going to be reproduction that INnoVation might not be able to afford. He might not go back into Vikings, actually. He might just stick with Liberators. Just because of the fact he's going to have Liberator range and obviously good numbers at this stage. INnoVation loses the top right base, and now he's got to make a play on towards this base here, but that's going to be very difficult to be successful as the Disruptors come in, and well, there's so many cannons here as well. INnoVation really finding himself in some desperation moves, especially as the bases go down on the top side of the map. He's really trying to push for something to happen. I think PartinG is going to take game 3. I think we're going to get ourselves a game number 4 in this series here. As we are going to see a couple of Zealots pressing forwards into that 3rd base again. I mean, he might be able to hold the 3rd, but PartinG lost the 5th. Killed off INnoVation's 4th, and that's the big play. Now INnoVation is down a base again, no matter what. And PartinG will try and re-expand to the 5th base too. Why not? Those DTs, they have Blink as well, by the way. They have been dealing some damage. 82 SCVs lost this game. That consistent pressure by PartinG. I mean, he did lose a lot of Zealots, though. I really didn't like the first few Zealot attacks. I really felt like the first few he lost like 10 Zealots for nothing, and then, yeah, he started to kind of force some units off of mineral lines. He never really got a lot of kills initially, but that really did add up over the last couple of fights. The thing is, eventually, if you keep doing that, you're going to eventually find INnoVation out of position, right? And eventually pushing across the map with not much at home. And that's where that damage does come in, as PartinG makes a series out of this, takes game 3, puts a point on the scoreboard, and away we go. Bottom right hand side, he gets himself a point on the board. He didn't look good in games 1 and 2, but looking good now. PartinG is in the bottom right. On the top left hand side, our red Terran player, INnoVation. Remember guys, after this, Solar versus Cure TVZ best of 5. After that, it's going to be Time versus Impact, another TvZ best of 5. That should be pretty fun too. And after that, you ask, Jigra versus Cyan. Then semi-finals and the finals to come, of course. And that's going to be a good long day. It is best of 5, yes. Best of 5 all day long until the finals, which will be best of 7. Hey, there we go. This time we got some waves out of the crowd. Getting better. Getting better. Kaizi is a Chinese team. Yes, Kaizi was funded by... So SC Boy is made up of one part caster called Zhao Se, and his cousin is a billionaire. Literally a billionaire. And they said, hey, we want a team in your team league. And these billionaires sat down and said, well, who could we get? And they said, well, we want INnoVation. But INnoVation was under contract with another team, so in the end they settled for Bunny and Super. But then INnoVation's contract ended, and he went to Kaizi Gaming. Originally, it was meant to be a team of 4 billionaires that owned it, but 2 of the billionaires said, you know what, I don't like who you've chosen as players. We're going to make our own team. And they've just picked up Dark as the first player of Dark Phoenix Gaming. So, that is the story of China right now. Billionaires just throwing money around in the StarCraft scene. Which, I'm not against. You know, it seems pretty good to me. We get this amazing tournament out of it, so... Reaper is going to start heading out in towards the center. That's just going to see it coming out over the right-hand side. But yeah, all of the teams in this tournament are mostly Chinese teams. Obviously, Genetic Green Wings aren't Chinese. But Pixel 1, the team of PartinG, is Chinese as well. So, yeah, I'm trying to think who else isn't Chinese. Obviously, they're all mostly Chinese teams, which have picked up Korean players. Psystorm weren't a Chinese team. Obviously, Chivo aren't a Chinese team. Neither are Black Knight, who are in this season. But they are mostly Chinese teams that have picked up Korean players, to the point where it's actually gone to the point where, I said this yesterday, I'll say it again because it's a really cool fact. There are so many teams interested in joining the league that the problem is they actually can't join because there's not enough players to pick up. There's been so many players picked up this year by Chinese teams that they just can't get anymore. Like, there's no players that are not in teams in Korea anymore. This league has literally solved the team crisis in Korea. It's incredible. It's incredible. Billionaires sponsored a tournament with a $7,000 prize pool. Well, no, they didn't sponsor this tournament. They sponsored the team. They didn't sponsor the tournament. They just picked up a team for the tournament. And hey, you know what? The main China Team Championship is worth $42,000. There's a lot of money on the line. Warlock from PartinG, with the grenade. Secondary Warlock, really good play by PartinG. That's going to allow the Hellions to do nothing at all. So doing a good job of it. Wish Liquid would play in the Team League. Well, the problem is they can't play on Korea, right? They're all European players, so playing on Korea is kind of a problem. But Team Liquid will be played in the upcoming season of the WardiTV Team League Season 9. That comes up in, starts in November, so keep your eyes out for that. We've got a $4,000 Team League coming your way through November and December. Alright, as we kick this off, let's talk a bit more about the game, guys, as we obviously getting this into it. You're going to see the extra racks dropping down. A couple of Marines, Siege Shank on the way out. We will see a couple of Stalkers hanging around in the main base. So you're going to see the Nexus will be coming in on the third. INnoVation looking for a little bit of damage in the early stages. Forge is dropping down, so PartinG, I mean, has Blink. Let's see what he can do for this defense. INnoVation will try and take the third Widowmine to the natural, but man, PartinG is not good at splitting his workers. I'm telling you. This time it's only 5 instead of 6, but it's still 5, right? It should be 1 worker per mine at minimum. Or maximum, really. Like, when you see it coming in, I know you targeted down the medevac, which is nice because then you don't have to pull your probes in the natural expansion, which makes this a lot harder to defend. But I still feel like that was a moment where he just made a little bit of a mistake he didn't have to. Just going to see this barracks going to swap over to the tech lab here. Combat shields can start. A couple of Stalkers into the main base, and just going to be seeing +1 attack on either side. 2 Stalkers going to sit into the center here and just try and see what's going to happen as you have the adapters. Going to be able to pick off that Widowmine, which was just kind of maneuvering around. A couple of Hellions from earlier in the game, still just kind of keeping some map control. Hey, you know what? At some stage, they might be able to come down this bottom way, get into that third mineral line, and you never know, 2 Hellions, they might get a few probe kills. One Stalker just hanging out the side, and just going to be seeing the +1 attack charge. A couple extra gateways coming up. Marines going after the Hallucinated Phoenix. Hallucination is going to get picked off. Stimpack combat shields +1 attack. All coming in at the moment here. And it's building forwards. Those Hellions will not find any damage in the end. Zealots on the way out, and well, just going to be seeing this army from INnoVation. It's kind of scary, and this is kind of where INnoVation looked the best in the previous games, when he got on the map and started dealing pressure early. Before PartinG was really able to get into his own groove. And it was especially when the Protoss player was playing without the armor upgrade, so his Zealots just kind of melted. And that's kind of the scenario in now. He goes into +1 attack first to help the Stalkers. But then you just don't have a great time against the Zealots. Tank on that high ground where INnoVation is right now, by the way, does a very good job. Cancelled his third base on the low ground. Oh my god, anti-armor missile. Those Zealots are going to melt even faster here. The force fields, I don't even think he needed to lift up there, because the Zealots were pretty much dead by the time he lifted up. That's a great anti-armor missile as we see Zealots into the natural expansion. INnoVation is leaving a lot of units at home to defend against the incoming units. He's going to drop an order turret here as well, as he's just going to go for probes on the third base. I mean, I like it because actually, there's just nowhere good to run those probes. There's no units nearby defensively. So yeah, there's just nowhere for those probes to go. And that's 10 workers killed. He's traded well against the Zealots too. Nice blink to clean out a medevac, but overall I like that for INnoVation, although he is only on 45 SCVs. Again, losing that third base for a little while does slow him down that little bit. Stalkers hanging out on the left-hand side. He's going to be seeing the SCVs continue to produce. Sub 47 is thank you for the 400 bits. We should fund a Jeff Memorial Tournament for after BlizzCon, just trying to be positive. Well, there was someone who actually already did a Memorial Tournament, and they fundraised for the for charity. Really, I can't remember who it was, but somebody did do it. They did something. As you see this army from INnoVation moving down the left side of this. Gets shot down, gets an auto turret, but obviously won't do a lot. His army not that crazy large. He'll catch these couple stalkers coming back across. I'm just worried for the gateway army of PartinG, because it doesn't feel amazing, right? And a couple Widow Mines already getting good connections. He's got 5 more Widow Mines off cooldown, which is actually kind of crazy amounts. You get 5 Widow Mine shots off here, you're going to start killing quite a lot. One of those Widow Mines goes into the main army. Now these extra Zards charging in. PartinG is going to clean the Widow Mines up though, and that's kind of what you have to do. You can't really let a Widow Mine fire twice in this scenario. If a Widow Mine fires twice, it's finding way more value than it should be. INnoVation finally getting up to a 3rd base mining, as in PartinG's 4th about to finish up. Temple Archives dropping down now as well. INnoVation pulls back. I mean, he's gotten to Liberators, but he's also stopped his upgrades, and so PartinG's kind of getting ahead on +2 now. I would like to see INnoVation continue with the upgrades. I mean, CV production is somewhat halted at the moment, but he is supply blocked. Maybe that's why. Let's see if he's kind of done with SCVs. 55 workers. I mean, it's a late 3rd, so I guess the main's mined out, so he doesn't need as many workers. But the mine's burrowing. Liberators starting to siege up. I mean, this avenue of attack for Liberators is amazing, right? There's no way around them, so INnoVation's going to slow push down this side, but you can't go too slow because then the reinforcement numbers are going to be a bit too high. So you still have to go with some side of speed. Hey, that's an Immortal you could kill there. I feel like that should have been a pickoff. That Immortal feels like it was very exposed and very on its own. Stalkers are going around the top to shut down some reinforcements, which have just gone the wrong way. Widow Mine's doing a good job against the initial Zealots here. Liberators will help out a lot as well. The High Tempo's coming in, the War Prism. Finally, some storms dropping down. Took a little while to get there, though. And these Liberators are holding strong. Now the Stalkers blink forwards into reinforcing bio units. Extra Zealots coming in to do that tanking, which they do oh so well. A +2 armor will go a long way to help with that. INnoVation's committed to this all-in attack because he does not have any sort of further upgrades. He kills the Prism. Wow, that's an interesting choice. I would have thought he might have focused down the Zealots there. As INnoVation looks as though he might have just broken through with this. Again, it's all in because he's not getting further upgrades. He's not really building many more SCVs. He takes extra gases now, but this is because he's already killing off this 30 scans and sees there's a 4th base up. PartinG will take that and just say, okay, well, 3 base against 3 base for the moment. But he's also PartinG way down on army supply, so let's see what he can do. Takes down 1 Liberator there. That's a nice catch, not losing anything for that. INnoVation just putting himself... Well, this is interesting because now he's between the bases, and now PartinG has to come in from 2 angles. Blinks to the left side, though. This works out okay initially, but then the Stalkers get chased by the Bio Army. So actually, this is really nice positional play by INnoVation. He shuts down those Stalkers, and PartinG just has nothing left at all. As we're going to see an Immortal going down, a couple extra Zealots being warped in. But this is absolutely going to be it for our first series of the China Team Championship All-Stars. INnoVation 3, PartinG 1, and INnoVation's like, wow. Doesn't even care.